I don't know, like, she's out there. You're the Florida version of Sex in the City, JD.
That's when I was smoking my cigars.
Don't be an asshole today.
Here we are. All right.
I'm all right. It's been a long couple of days here on my own.
Oh my gosh, it's late over there. I know.
Well, that's nothing. It's just Bruce has had a cold, my big boy cat.
Aw.
So I got to make him like special food in the morning, put decongestant in it. But no, he's actually had a really good day today. He was a little more. I mean, it's just a cold. Like the vet was like, it's a year ago to the day you brought him in for the same exact thing. So
really?
it must be something seasonal. So we caught it early this time. But yeah, it's just, so he's been like super needy, he's been like sleeping with me every night, sleeping with me, climbing on me, and he's big, man. He is solid. He is bone crushing.
And that's unusual for a cat, right? To be needy.
Yeah.
Cats.
So that's how you know he's not feeling well, and Gemma's not here. And normally he like sits with her at night when we watch TV. He sits on the footrest of the recliner, and I'm on the couch. So today he actually jumped up on me and just like, hung out up on my chest for 20 minutes. And then it makes Molly needier because like I'm her person. So I've been smothered in cats, and I feel like that's all I'm doing is like making his special food, and then I have to clean up the floor because he flicks it everywhere when he eats, and we have open floors. So I got to hurry up and clean when he's done. And then I got to give him like an extra pill in the evening. I got to tuck it in a little chicken trick pocket. And then she's like, he's getting a treat and I'm not getting a treat. And then I got to give her a treat. And it's like, I honestly, it's
what a good mama. You're a very good mama.
I know, but I mean, like, I'm used to dividing these things up, like I feel like I'm spending my whole day dealing with them, and then after I get them all settled, then I got to vacuum up the litter that they made a mess with everywhere. And, it's one thing after another. Scoop the litter box, take out the poop. Like, oh my God, that's all I do is like mind these cats all day long.
You are the cat mama. The cat lady.
I left them for a little bit last night. Me and Hazel went out for dinner last night. We found a new place right nearby, like 10 minutes away in in Mitcham. As a matter of fact, I put a picture of it on Instagram. I just got a text message from my friend Kate that said, "Where in God's name was that lobster? I need that."
That looked good, and I don't even eat lobster.
It was so good. It was so good. Everything, steak, the lobster. I mean, it was out of this world. It was such a treat to be out of the house and eating meat with someone else that eats meat.
Right. You're always cooking vegan and fake meat products.
Yeah, this was just perfect. I have like not one complaint. It was so good. And the place was really nice, really clean. They had, they were all following protocols, and there was only like 2 or 3 other tables with people, and they were spaced ridiculously far apart. And it was just like, yeah, it was a nice night because it was close. We didn't have to be driving forever, and everything was reasonably priced. It's kind of like a, it's got the feel of a pub, but it's like a steakhouse. So wedge salads, nice big piece of fillet steak. It was awesome. Or fillet, as they would say over here. A fillet steak.
Do they say that? Do they say fillet? Oh, interesting. Didn't know that.
So let Hazel order for me so I don't sound like a stoop, But yeah, it was nice, and it was like a welcomed change. It just seems like nothing ever changes these days because everybody's kind of retreating back to,
Yes.
COVID days with the surge, so.
I was going to say, look at us flipping things around because I'm not going anywhere and I miss going out. I need a haircut. I'm looking at myself now and I'm afraid to go. I'm afraid to go to the place for a haircut, but I think I'm going to need to break down and go. And I was
just
going.
thought about that too. Just thought about.
I was going long before you went back, and so now I'm a little bit nervous to go, but
yeah, I mean we've been going out a lot, but we've been like, it just feels different. We'll drive to an hour to the seaside, drive along the seaside, go down the high streets, look at the shops and go, oh, isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? Don't get out of the car,
Yeah,
and then
right.
when you decide on a place, it's got to be a place that's got like outdoor seating and stuff, and then you put your mask on when you get out of the car and take your mask off when you get seated. It's just, it's weird, it's weird. Like, and I don't know if it's like, I think like my circle of people worry about me because they're like, she doesn't go anywhere. So they're constantly going, do you want to go here? Do you want to go here? I really don't. Like, I appreciate you asking, but I really don't want to go anywhere, but thanks for asking. I'm fine. But then, I feel stupid saying that. And then I feel bad because they're making this effort to get me out of the house. So I feel like I have to go. But yeah, the truth is I don't need to go anywhere. I'm fine getting my groceries delivered, my prescriptions delivered, hang out in my own backyard if I feel like I need fresh air.
You fell right into that. You fell right into that life.
I'm okay with it. I feel like I've been training for it forever because I don't drive. So,
right. Hey, you know what? I know more than a handful of people that have gotten COVID who are vaccinated. So it's not so, silly to want to do that, to want to stay home.
Just watch the report saying that that most of these vaccinations are 66% in their efficacy against the Delta variant. But 25-fold, you're not going to get hospitalized, and you're not going to die.
Right.
So, it's better.
That's the way to look at it. Are you drinking this late?
I went with this straight up sheepdog peanut butter whiskey, lots of ice.
Nice. I went with
so sweet.
Classic rum and Coke.
Rum and Coke.
The Mount Gage Black Barrel.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good one.
It's for us, I guess it's happy hour here.
It's bedtime. It's like 11 o'clock here. Whatever.
I'm excited for Tyler's Marleni today. I'm very excited.
I talked to Marlene today. I talked to my mother today. She's feeling she's she has MS and it's the progressive. It's not the relapsing remitting. It doesn't ever get better. It only gets worse. And I think she's feeling the worst, part of it. And she's a lot more limited. She's got a lot of fatigue and she's just feeling like a bit useless. Like she's got brain jumble, big time brain jumble. I mean, seriously, deciphering some of her text messages is like, I need a secret decoder ring. Like, I don't get it. She's just convinced that her MS is getting worse. So I feel bad. I just feel bad. Like, I don't know what to tell her or what to do to make her feel better. So I'm glad that Tyler's making a special drink named after her, just for her. So I mean, that's one thing she still does. She still has her little drink. So whatever he comes up with, she'll be more than happy to try. So I'm like, that part of it's good. That's a good thing. There he is. Hey!
I am so sorry. I had a problem with my email. It didn't forward to you. I'm so glad I looked at my text. Hi.
Hello.
I made her own up to it. I made her own right up to it.
We got the evidence right up front. I was waiting. I had to re-pull my ice.
I was oh no, that's a nightmare right there. Look, I'm almost done with my drink now.
Yes.
God, it's all my fault.
And I'm down to like this much sheepdog, peanut butter whiskey.
Oh no, we got to go for another run.
Who the hell's drinking all that? Gonna blame my wife who never drinks.
It wasn't me.
Yeah.
We're excited for your drink today, Tyler.
Yes.
Have you
Tyler,
back.
you don't even know how much this means to me. My mother is in a bit of a funk right now.
Oh,
yeah. So I'm hoping that this
timed perfectly then.
Perk her right up. You know.
Good. Yeah, I know it's gotten delayed a little bit, but it's time.
Oh.
No, I've been thrilled to work on this one. It's gonna be fun.
I know that that we talked about all the different things that she drinks. So I was just telling JD, doesn't even matter what it is because she's adventurous, you know. She likes a little Jameson and ginger. She likes a watermelon martini. She likes gin and tonic. She likes vodka tonics. Like she's easy to please.
Good.
Yeah.
No, I did. I remembered kind of what we talked about, and I said I'm not ready to break off a whiskey yet. There's still a lot of ground to cover with whiskey, and I was thinking about it, and I worked on this one and made it happen. It was fun, and
I saw a whiskey one. Remember we were talking about the savories?
Yes.
I saw a whiskey one. I was going to send it to you on Instagram, and I got sidetracked, and I really should have because it was super interesting. It was a bourbon, I think. It was in the whiskey family, but it was made with mushrooms.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
That is very cool.
Like, I never saw it. It was, first of all, it was beautiful to look at. And it did list the ingredients and say what kind of mushrooms, because I was just like, oh my God, they're so dainty.
Right.
But yeah, it was just like, oh, this is savory. This is like what Tyler was talking about.
Yes.
I will find it. I will find it on Instagram and send it to you.
Yeah, send that my way. We had the Great Canary had a cocktail that it's called Mushroom, and we did mushroom infused sherry as part of the base.
That's so wild because you put sherry in a mushroom cream sauce. So it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. The flavors tie together, and that was one of the fun kind of low ABV. We did a whole menu that was actually more session cocktails, so a little lower overall ABV while still having really, really powerful flavors and really pairing. Again, trying to tie up into that drink them with dinner instead of just before or after dinner. Dinner round. So,
yeah, that sounds good.
After with dinner.
Exactly. So there's a place for wine, a place for beer, and now there's a place for cocktails at the dinner table too.
Of course. Yeah, definitely. Oh, I'm super excited about this one though.
Yes. So did kind of combine a couple different things. I didn't want it just to be a martini. I didn't just want it to be, something like a Tom Collins, and I didn't just want it to be, just a standard sour build or anything like that. I was kind of going through what I wanted to do with it. So without further ado, I'm going to start building this. I've drank a ton of them over the last couple days. I was delayed a little bit with some things, so I've had a lot of time to hone it in, a lot of time to drink them, and I keep drinking them, and I'm going to probably keep drinking them. So
that's a glowing recommendation right there.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
And so I'm just going to start as we do and just start building. And I do like to start building with the base. I think it's always fun, and it's just a good place to kind of.
That reminds me. Hold on.
Yes.
Wait.
Holding. Putting this over to the side.
I live to impress you. Okay.
And you succeed. Ooh. Yes, we have a shaker.
The built-in strainer.
Yes. Those are fantastic.
Super excited. I have not had one. I was using a diet plan shake mixer.
Yep.
Which had the little wire ball.
It has a little pour spout at the end.
But I'm good.
You are seriously on your way to mixology.
Yes. I can't wait to muddle, man. I can't wait to muddle.
Muddling is fun. It's very fun.
Okay.
It's harder than people make it look too. You gotta, if you just crush everything, you get all the bitter elements out of it, and it's no fun. So you want to lightly express it to get the flavor out. But if you really crush it, especially when you're using like herbs or plant-based material or anything, you really squeeze out those tannins, and you start getting a bittering element that you may not be looking for. Now, if you're doing it on purpose, that's different. But.
I heard that about mint leaves, like not to. not to grind the bottom, like you're not
Yes.
using a mortar and pestle making a paste. Yeah.
Absolutely. And a lot of times with mint, even when I'm making mojitos or south sides, I don't muddle the mint. I know people like it. I take the mint sprigs and I slap them real hard, which kind of expresses and kind of opens up those pores.
Yeah.
Yep. Then I drop it in and I just will briefly shake it with that. I don't want to muddle it. I don't want to express anything more than that, because when you shake it, especially if you're shaking with those leaves, you're doing a lot of bruising to them. You don't need to start that process ahead of time.
Right.
In my methods, but anyway.
Good to know. All right.
You're gentle with the mint is what you're saying.
Mint, basil.
Yeah.
Mint and basil you have to be gentle with. Rosemary you have to be a little rougher with to really kind of get those oils out of it. And then anytime that I'm using citrus, if I'm going to muddle either lemon, lime, orange, or anything, I try to be very careful and just hit the meat of the fruit. I try not to get too much of the actual pith of the skin.
Yeah.
So that I'm not getting those really bitter elements, but I am getting a lot of that juice, because when you shake that, that ice is going to hit that, bruise it, and pull a lot of that out into it. So
that is super handy to know.
Yes. So I'm going to start with something I'm pretty excited about. So this is
that's Bob Dylan's bourbon.
It is. It is Bob Dylan's
Heaven's Door.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so he does the Heaven's Door whiskey. This here is going to be their double barrel whiskey, so it is going to be at proof. So it's going to be 50%. Very cool. Kind of the story when you look at the bottles, they've got kind of the crazy kind of ironwork and wrought iron. And one of his little art projects that he got into, he just started making these wrought iron gates and doors. And those are the inspiration for a lot of the art on these. There's the doors posed.
I read that. That's a beautiful bottle.
Yes.
Yeah, I read that. That's like his latest form of art that he does is these ironworks.
These old rockers, man. Did you hear about what's the drummer's name from the Rolling Stones? He died. Charlie Watts.
Yeah.
Yeah. He died today. It's a sad day in Britain when one of the Rolling Stones goes down.
Yeah. and they're just about immortal. So
exactly. Right. You're like, wow. Yeah.
It can happen. Oh, that's very sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought this was cool.
Right.
Saw it and moved it, and my dad tried to name me after Bob Dylan. My middle name is Dylan. And from how I understand the story, he wanted my first name to be Dylan, and my mom wanted my first name to be Tyler. So my first name is Tyler.
That's exactly how that works.
Yep. So he got the middle name. So it is after Bob Dylan. He was a big fan. And I do greatly enjoy listening to Bob Dylan's songs and just kind of the way that he writes and just what he writes about. But we're going to go 2 ounces of a 50% whiskey. So it is going to be heavy corn, not quite classified as a bourbon, but it is going to be that kind of overproof strength to that whiskey. And that's going to matter a lot because I'm going to be putting some funk in here that's going to kind of still be sweet and exciting, but it is going to be a lot of strong flavors. I needed a strong base to match up to that. If you wanted to make something that was a little more kind of martini-esque, you could go with a strong gin, something that had like really good herbaceousness to it. You wouldn't necessarily want something floral. That's going to clash a little bit, but for this, I still want to stick with the whiskeys. Favorite thing to add to everything for me, it's my tiki influence, Angostura, just kind of baking spices and kind of that tropical. You get it in a lot of your tiki drinks, a lot of your tropical drinks. It just adds a nice bitter tannic element, balances really well. 3 dashes of that, just to kind of tie in with the whiskey. And then the thing that made this fun, this is going to be a raspberry grenadine.
Oh, wow.
So, yep. So grenadine, usually based in pomegranate. So I did use that. I used some juiced pomegranate, mixed that with sugar, boiled that till it all combined. And then took about 4 ounces of fresh raspberries, which are still good to get here in Tennessee.
Wow.
Yeah, nice and ripe and sweet.
And threw them in and macerated those with that initial grenadine. So threw those in there and let it really simmer until they basically pop. And they'll kind of pop themselves. You don't have to do anything, crush them or anything like that, just really lightly. Then filtered that out. So you got your grenadine, which usually has that kind of, it's pomegranate flavor. People think a lot like cherry, that kind of like deep, sweet red fruit.
Yeah.
Those raspberries add that nice kind of zing and a little bit of like kind of higher citrus element to it. This is fantastic by itself. So I'm going to make sure I explain how to make that one when I put the recipe in, because I just have been putting this with soda, putting this in just about everything, pouring this over ice cream. Like it just is a great sweetener. But for this one, again, using that kind of strong whiskey and those bittering bitters, I'm going to go a full ounce. Grenadine, again, though it's sweet, I threw in those raspberries, so you're not going to detect as much of the sweetness. So if you need a little bit more than you would normally put into something to make that kind of punch through.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And then we are going to go ahead and just do 3/4 of an ounce of lemon.
So like half a squeeze of half a lemon.
Yep. So about a half a lemon. Lemons usually are good for if you get a standard size, you know, not a massive lemon or not some of those like lime size lemons. They're usually good for about 1.5 ounces per lemon. Limes are usually good for about 1 ounce, and then oranges are usually 2 to 2.5 ounces.
Yeah.
So you can usually guesstimate if you need to. I'm going to take all of that. That's my basic build right now. So I'm going to shake that up.
It's so quiet.
That sounds so good. I'm so impressed already at the element of surprise that you're using the whiskey. I called it bourbon, but I guess it's whiskey. The Bob Dylan's whiskey, which I would have like for some reason thought it would have been a vodka based thing. So you're always like outside the box. Like I just love that you think outside the box.
Nope, and that's what I want to do. It would be easy to do with vodka, but it's more fun to try to take something else and, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, there's something about a bourbon flavor or whiskey flavor.
Now?
He thinks outside the shaker. Look at that. Oh my God, that's beautiful.
So now you've got this, you know, it's a very nice kind of almost ruby grapefruit color, more so than even pink. And then just to add in some extra fun, this is Seedlip, which is a non-alcoholic spirit. So it is a distillate
over here. That is huge over here.
And that was
it? Oh, wow.
Yes, and that's through some of the travels to Europe. Seedlip and tonic is just one of the most fun things to kind of pace yourself with and everything. It has a very nice, it has that kind of I always try to think of it like spiritus element. I can't find a better word for it. You feel it like come up through your sinuses when you take a sip.
Yeah,
but it's non-alcoholic.
Non-alcoholic. Yep. Right. And I do really like the Garden 108. That's my favorite. They have a pepper one, and then they have kind of just a more herbal one. But the Garden, it drinks like a gin. It really, you can use it in just about anywhere you'd use a gin. So I'm just gonna do a little splash of that. Again, just adding in just a little bit of a vegetal element that I don't have anything covering there. Just a splash. And then I like to top things with sparkling. So this is just a Topo Chico. This is the twist of grapefruit Topo Chico, but it works well with Topo Chico. It works well with club soda, but Topo Chico is just a nice mineral water, little light bubbles to it. So I top that.
A little
fizzy.
Yes. Fizz. Bring it to the fizz. And this one is a full one in my coupes. If you have some full-size coupe, it's going to fit very, very nicely.
Oh, wow.
And then last, not least, for the garnish, just a nice bit of lemon to tie everything back together.
The aromatic on top.
Yes. And then without further ado there, I will give you, I can get it to separate, the Marleni.
Oh, look at that. Well done.
That looks so good.
And it has a very nice balance with everything in there. It's not surprising. It's not going to be very sweet. There is definitely going to be some kind of residual sugars, but you get some very nice vegetal notes throughout the whole thing. You get a little bit of heat from the whiskey. You get some of that kind of vanilla from the whiskey that ties in with the baking spices out of the Angostura. Then from that raspberry grenadine and the lemon, you get just the like perfect balance of sweet and tart, but it's not going to be very sweet or very tart. It's just going to be present. And then the bubbles just kind of keep it on, once you swallow it, keeps everything on the mouth and just kind of keeps the experience going.
Oh,
that is
wow.
awesome. I have got to look into getting some bitters.
Mm.
It's the one thing that, I just never think about, when I, it's so different buying liquor here too. Like you're literally going into like a mini mart and it's all behind them and you can't really see everything.
Yeah, browse and pick it up.
Yeah, exactly. It's
So
not like
you
to one of your cool ABC Spirits kind of places where you can
where they let you loose.
yeah, exactly.
And give you samples half the time.
Mhm.
When you add bitters, is it
Yes.
bitter? Are bitters bitter, or was that just the name? Like, what
Okay.
is?
So the answer to that question is yes. They are bitter, and that is also the name. So initially you had your bitters, which were tinctures, bitters, usually medicinal. So they would use distilled spirits, and then you infuse various herbs, spices, components, whatever, mineral, whatever you want to do. And they were a lot of times used as kind of like health tonics to cure things and to settle the stomach, or, all the way to your crazy kind of quack practitioners of, this is going to cure every headache you'll ever have if you take 3 drops of this. But you tend to take a very high proof alcohol, and then you soak in what your bittering elements or whatever you're going to use. So you'll use a lot of herbs, you'll use a lot of spices, a lot of roots, barks, things like that. So the majority of them tend to be bitter. From that, but there are very aromatic bitters. There's, you can get lavender bitters that are just going to be kind of floral. You can get a lot of like new tiki stuff is using hibiscus bitters. So
I saw an entire bitters Amaro. Jay, did I send it to you? Did I send you that menu of all the Amaros and the bitters?
Yes, you did. Yes.
In the mezcals, like we went to the sea. We went to the seaside. We have a Margate here in England, and we drove there, and we just stopped at this little pub, and we were sitting outside, and they brought us the QR code to get the menu, and so you download it on your phone, and I'm looking at it, and I was like, oh, they have all these different kind of whiskeys, and then like there were 7 pages, of their signature drinks, the favorites, the standards, and then the last couple pages were mezcals, with whiskeys, and then a long list of all the different bitters and Amaros and everything. And I was like, oh my God, I got to take a picture of this. So send it to JD, send it to Taylor. I was so excited. I finally tried mezcal.
Yes.
And I can't, the first one I ordered, which was, I think, the strongest, that was how it was listed. And they said, and they came back and said, oh, I'm so sorry, but we're out of that. And I was like, but I ended up going with, and I'm really happy that I tried it, because we were talking about, like, you panicked me when you said that the world is going to run out of mezcal at some point. So I was like, no. So I tried a Kiki.
Maybe not in our lifetime, Denise.
I know. It was and I don't know how you say this, Kiki Riki Madeleine.
Okay.
45%. I was going with the Dangerous Don Cafe, which was 48%. But they didn't have it, so I went with the Madeleine one. And when he brought it, over here, it's a strict 25 mils. No over, no free pouring, no, So it looked like this much, in the glass. And I took a sniff, and I was like, oh wow, that smells strong. So my British friend went, oh my goodness, that smells like petrol. That smells like a glass of petrol.
Yes.
Like, yeah, baby. So
that diesel.
I really liked it. I actually had squeezed a little lemon in it because it really was that strong.
Yep.
But I was so okay with that.
That's
so
awesome.
okay with that. And then I forget what Gemma got a whiskey, but the list of Amaro, vermouth, and liqueurs. It was just, Saint Germain, Galliano, Chambord, Moraska from Croatia.
Ooh, what is that one?
Moraska.
Moraska.
Moraska from Croatia. Green Chartreuse from France. Asterly Brothers Amaro, made right in England. Yeah, there was Mondino Amaro from Germany.
Ooh.
Yeah, if we weren't gonna like go someplace else after, I would have sat there and tried a million different things, but I didn't want to be staggering down the seaside. Where's the fish and chips? Where's the fish and chips? So
I need a chippy.
yeah, exactly.
I love all the ingredients you chose for the Marlene, because I
So
think
layered.
that
It's so layered,
yes,
but you
the
get
layers,
a sense of what it's going to taste like, right?
yes. How did you come up with that? Like, how did you decide like did you work that out? Do you taste it and say, oh, that's not working and let's try something else?
So yeah, to a degree. You know, I've gotten to the point where I can pretty much get a good idea of what I'm building and how it's going to come out. We always talk about it. You can make a balanced cocktail, which is where it tastes fine. I can pretty much without thought make a balanced cocktail, but balance is not necessarily interesting or fun. I can make something that someone's going to drink and say, oh, this tastes okay. But
yeah.
So I started with, you know, really want to do something kind of with like, kind of take that a twist on. Sometimes, you know, people like to talk about like the pomegranate martini is just this big sweet pomegranate, has a good flavor. It kind of cuts through, Grenadine tends to cut through heavy alcohol. So you get your kind of traditional 80s martini going down of lots of sugar, lots of juice, vodka, to get you drunk, but
honestly,
not taste.
The only thing I ever had Grenadine in was tequila sunrises.
Yep.
Pretty much. And Shirley Temples.
Yes. So, and Grenadine also is one of those ingredients. We keep it on hand. And I use it a lot. It's a really cool flavor. It's used a lot in a lot of like, kind of vintage cocktails and things like that. It was one of those kind of
candy-ish. It's like a candied cherry. Yeah.
And it's just a flavor you don't get a lot in our modern palate. So I really like to use it, and it marries well with alcohol. It really does. It stands up pretty well to a lot of it. So did that. It's a whiskey podcast. I like it a lot. I like that we talk whiskey, and I was not gonna. Like I said, one day we will do a cocktail that isn't whiskey, and it's gonna be awesome. And it's gonna be rum, and I'm just gonna tell you straight up, it's gonna be rum first before I go into anything else. But there's just so much to do with whiskey that isn't an old fashioned or a whiskey sour or a whiskey highball. And whiskey usually falls so easily into those tropes that people don't branch out and people don't ask for it and all of that. So I wanted to take kind of that 80s martini build and do it with whiskey. And you can't just throw sugar and whiskey together and a fruit and make it taste great.
Exactly.
So, you know, tried the whiskey. It was real hot, 50%, not super harsh, but it was there. But it did. I had a lot of vanilla, and then a lot of like very lightly, like almost smoke versus char on it. So I was gonna go with the hibiscus bitter and kind of play off of the Grenadine, but that whiskey just wants Angostura in it from my viewpoint. So I scratched the hibiscus after a couple tries of just being a little light. Went with the Angostura. Then I had it there, and it was a still cocktail, so it was just neat and all of that, and it just was missing something. It was still just a cocktail. So I added the Topo Chico bubbling that I had sitting at the house, and was like, let me try to make it sparkling. And that woke it right up.
Love that. Yeah.
And we recently bought a bottle of Seedlip, and we were drinking Seedlip sodas, and those Seedlip sodas were Seedlip Topo Chicos. And I was like, well, this is good. How does a little bit of Seedlip work in there?
What I love that you use the Heaven's Door. I love that you use the whiskey, and that it's just, I mean, that's for me, like
I'm turning people on to whiskey. Like I honestly, my wife sent me this picture.
Yep.
Of this and said,
that's a good glass.
And then said, Woodford Reserve.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, she's away and she's slamming Woodford Reserve.
Yes.
Who are you?
Yep.
Okay. when we were in Margate, she had one too. I don't even remember what kind it was, but she had a whiskey. I think it was Bullet. Might have been Bullet. But yeah, all of a sudden she's drinking whiskey. I'll find you a sponsor. I'm like, yeah, would you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Thanks.
That would be fantastic. Well, and I think what you get with whiskey that I really like, it's just so varied.
Yeah.
Even if you just play the just bourbons and try 16 different bourbons, and there are 16 different whole experiences.
When we started this, I thought I only liked Irish whiskey because I liked the Jameson Caskmate, and so then I got all the Glenfiddich and the Balvenie and all that, and I was like, I don't really like this.
Yep.
It's not Irish whiskeys. And then I got that the honey smoked bourbon, the Keeper, and I realized that it's bourbon that I prefer. But if you would have asked me before we started doing this, I would have been like, yeah, Irish whiskey. But it's like the more you expand, like now I would like to start tasting ryes now.
Yes.
Just give it a shot.
Ryes are a fun journey.
List,
Yep.
Judy got me into ryes. Your mom got me into ryes, Tyler.
See?
Yeah. And Heaven's Door, I think, makes a rye version.
They do. They have a rye, and I believe they have a bourbon. I just know this isn't the bourbon.
I could be wrong. I thought it was Heaven's Door. Maybe not. Maybe it was Angel Envy. Did you ever have Angel Envy?
So Angel's Envy rye is my favorite rye. Because
that's what I'm thinking of, yeah.
And I found out why. Yes, that all rhymes. But they finish their rye in rum barrels. So
okay, there you go.
That makes such a huge difference.
Yep.
I didn't learn that until we toured the Jameson factory, and they put different, a Jim Beam, a Jack Daniels, and a Jameson, and let you figure it out. Like why the Jameson tasted better, and then they showed you the barrels, and they said these are in, vanilla soaked oak barrels, and whatever, and you realize that really does make a huge difference. And the Caskmate is in stout barrels, I think.
Okay.
I think that's why it's called the stout edition. I don't really know.
Yeah, Caskmates, because they have a couple different ones, I believe I saw a Jameson IPA barrel aged.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's like pretty standard though. When we went to the Guinness factory, their Hop House 13 or whatever it is, their lager, like they those are in different barrels than obviously everything else. But like I noticed a really different, and I didn't really care for it. I was there for stout, it was like, with this pale stuff. But Gemma likes lager, so she liked the Hop House. But when we had that at the pub, it didn't really sell. We ended up having to like rotate it out because it passed the expiry date. And there was only like 8 or 12 cans in our thing. We never sold them, so yeah, didn't go over well. But it is really, really critical to the flavor where they're finishing it. Like those barrels make all the difference. It's insane. You just don't think about that. Like I just think of like, why don't they just taste like wood?
I learned that on the Jack Daniels tour, how important that was on the Jack Daniels distillery tour, which I think they now give you a taste at the end. When I went and give you a taste, I think they do give you. Do they give you a taste, Tyler? Do you know?
I have not been on it. I will be very honest. Okay. Though I live just a couple hours outside of Bourbon Country, I have yet to do the Bourbon Country expedition.
I saw Jim Beam does tours now too. Like there's actually a commercial on CNN about the Jim Beam. It's like, they feature the 100-year-old company. So like Macallan, Jim Beam, a lot of liquor places is actually 100-year-old places. You don't really think about that, but 100 years is a long time. And
well, they were in Tri-County, that's why they didn't give you the taste, but I think they might have changed that. I think it was like that for 100 years, Denise.
I know they
Oh,
determine the number
Yeah.
of the, it's something like, I want to say it's in the billions. It was like $200 billion industry in just Kentucky.
Oh,
Like
Wow.
no other states, but just
Wow.
Kentucky. Like, yeah, bourbon is a billion, an excessively large amount of $1 billion industry. And it's just, it blows your mind. You're like, yeah, well, it is Kentucky.
So how excited is Marlene going to be about the Marlene? I can't wait.
I hope that this, I really hope that this kicks up her spirits. I really do.
Aw.
I was actually like super depressed when I got off the phone with her today. You know, just I was
Well,
just feeling so bad.
yeah.
I was just feeling so bad. Like it just brings everything into focus, like being this far apart and not being able to get there. I mean, I have a ticket, I could go, but that place is like a hot steaming vat of COVID stew.
Yes, we
And I'm not
are.
doing it. Like, God forbid something happens to me, like, you know, diabetes wise or COVID wise, like you have no hospital beds.
Mm.
You literally had 75 doctors quit their job today because they're sick of treating unvaccinated people.
Really?
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
I
So I'm like, I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready to plunge myself into this in October. I'm just not. So I'm pushing my ticket out probably to February.
Okay.
But I want my mom to come here for Christmas. Is that awful? I think she'd be safer.
Yeah.
I just think she would be safer here. You know,
tell her they're going to serve Marlenis on the plane, and maybe she'll get on the plane.
I'll tell her I'll actually make it. I will actually make it for her if she comes. But yeah,
By the way,
she'll love that. She will absolutely love that.
I
mean,
can't wait.
I don't
can't
know
wait.
that she'll have all the fancy business, but she'll try dumping palm juice in a bourbon.
Yeah, it's close. It's pretty close.
With a squeeze of lemon and call it a
Yeah,
Marlene.
yeah, squeeze a lemon in it, and, you know.
I'll
I don't
bring
know.
her over a bottle of Heaven's Door.
Sprinkle some cinnamon on top for some baking spice. There you go. You basically have the same.
A little pumpkin spice. That's her favorite right now. We're getting into pumpkin season. I just sent her a Dunkin' Donut thing and said they started pumpkin early. So,
They did.
yeah. I know. So that'll be perfect. Yeah, she'll mess with it a little bit, you know, see what she's usually a two, you know, like a Jameson and ginger, you know, or a gin and tonic, like two. I'll tell her to
She's
just
a two ingredient.
bring
That's
it
like
up a little.
Yeah.
when I get a recipe for something, if I
Oh,
get
Jay, that is not like
it
you.
says you get a skillet, I'm done. Skillet? What are they talking about? Oh, forget it. It's too complicated.
Yeah.
I can't.
Which one of these pans is the skillet? I have the flat pan and the tall pan.
And I actually have a skillet, but I don't know what to do with the skillet. Like, forget it.
I
Where's the
only use them
microwave
for breakfast.
instructions?
I only use them for breakfast food, and only because I had one at Denny's once. I had like the or IHOP or one of those places that does like a
Right.
skillet
Oh,
breakfast.
you get it in the
I've got to
skillet.
get a skillet
right?
for
The
one
whole
of these,
breakfast.
man. Yeah,
Right.
never used it again.
And by the way, Tyler, our condolences for Emily's grandfather.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
That's
coming on the show after all, you know, after last week. So
oh, you
please
yeah,
give
you,
her
I
our
was gonna say that.
condolences.
You didn't have to do that. Like, geez, I didn't want you to feel like you had to.
No,
But
no,
it's lovely. It's lovely that you bounced back with the Marlene.
Yes, and thank you all for being willing to work with my schedule. I know that we like to
I got the whole week
give the people what the people want, but
I'm like, yeah, whatever. Do it at 11. I'll do it my time. I'll do it at midnight. I don't care. My wife's away this week. Whatever you want to do. I'm gonna order pizza in an hour.
yeah, I'll just have another drink.
Exactly. No, I've been so good. I really haven't really been drinking. What did I did? Oh, I did have a cider. I did have a cider, and it wasn't great. It was like a cloudy apple. Like that doesn't even sound appetizing.
It does not. No.
They need a marketing department.
Yeah, it looked like this.
marketing.
Not gonna lie, it was not cool. But then I bought I got one. Recorderlig is a big brand of ciders over here. They're Swedish, and I got a watermelon citrus lime cider that is outrageous, like more than made up for the cloudy piss water or whatever that was.
That's amazing.
Cloudy apple.
Those,
Oh yeah, apple. That's what it was.
yeah, it's just, and it's funny because like when you go to the grocery store to get like, and you're looking at juices and stuff, they have cloudy lemonade, they have cloudy apple, and it's just like, wow, those look like the things that you see nurses carrying out of someone's hospital room. Like, it doesn't look great, and yet people love it. It's just, it's really strange.
I like that we just say that things have pulp here.
Yeah.
Right.
Apple juice with pulp.
Yeah.
Right. That's better.
That's way better marketing. Yeah, definitely. Well, listen,
So
you guys, I'm so happy about this. Like, I'm so happy about
awesome.
this.
I'm glad we finally did it.
I'm so
this is now the third time that I was ready to do the Marlene and something came up and I was like, I know I'm going to do it, but it's not this time. I'm just waiting for the right time.
See, perfect. It really lined up. It's full moon. It's all meant to be.
Look at that.
My mother needed a little pick me up, and now she's got a drink named
Perfect
after her.
timing.
That sounds delightful, ridiculously
Yes.
delightful. So I thank you for the time and effort that you put into that.
Yes. Thank you, Tyler.
That one sounds stellar. Like I might go out and try and buy bitters just to make that.
Yeah. You should just have bitters anyway. They're just good to have.
I need to get Grenadine. Grenadine sounds interesting.
Grenadine, oddly enough, I can get at the mini marts. I could get that, but I maybe I'm just not looking hard, or maybe they have it like down where you can't see it.
Yeah, you might have to ask.
Yeah, but if worst comes to worst, man, I'll get it on Amazon like everything else.
Perfect.
There you go.
Yeah, I will, because I want to try this. Like I know those flavors are going to be good, and I really want to taste them. I can in my head imagine how they're going to taste. Yeah.
So will this make it onto your menu? How many of the Whiskey Rock Lounge drinks creations make it onto the menu at your bar?
So this one will probably not. I'm working. So the Daddy's Money is one that we sell now. It's not on the menu because our menu is pretty curated for specifics, but that is one that has been distributed amongst our guests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's now asked for. And then I am still trying to take some inspiration of the one from the road, transitioning that into a tequila drink in some format for the next.
Well, yeah, I bet that would be good. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, done, you, sir, and thank you for turning me on to mezcal.
Yes.
Yeah, there you
go. It's always worth a good try.
That's fantastic. All right, you guys, listen, we're out of time. Peace, man.
As always. Yes, thank you for having me in the lounge. Cheers, y'all.
Where did you switch to? What did you?
Oh yes, in the bullet glass.
And the bullet. I had rum in honor of Tyler. Mount Gay rum and Coke.
Oh, perfect.
I'm gonna make one of those next.
All right, take it easy, dude. Bye.
Thanks, Tyler.
There's Bessie.
He drank way too much whiskey.
Like, never stop chasing your dreams.